So, welcome to I Support Your Business show with your host and host Mithil, a pod made exclusively to share the journey of our fellow community member of I Support Your Business Indo Canadian community to the world. The main aim of our community is to practice the power of giving, facilitate collaborations and partnerships, and help connect people on a global platform. As your host, being the president of the community currently, as well as the founder and chief content alchemist of VI Stripe Content Lab, I help solopreneurs, artists, and coaches build their business online organically through content marketing. Today, we have a wonderful member from our community. Let's welcome Jayesh. Hi, Jayesh.
Hello. Hi. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good too.
Lovely, lovely. So, Jayesh, we would like to know a little bit about your childhood. So, if you can share your journey with us.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So basically, I am born and brought up in Mumbai. And my parents are from Kerala. They settled before their marriage in Mumbai and got married there. So I did my schooling in St. Thomas High School in Goregaon, and post, was clueless what to do further. So of course, there are friends to say, okay, we can do this, we can do that. That's how I, came to know about diploma in electronic engineering, and I joined the Vivekananda, Institute, doing that course along with some of my friends, and joined second year of engineering in Sardar Patel College in Andheri. And again, continuing with my passion in engineering, electronic engineering actually. I was good with sports and other cultural activities. I was the general secretary for all the colleges where I studied. And then eventually after graduating, right, I realized, okay, now what next? So I think childhood wise, I was very happy having so many friends across all details, streams, in from schools to both my colleges, and I really happily enjoyed my childhood along with my parents and siblings as
So, Jayesh, when and how did your professional journey started?
well. Oh, that's it's a mixed bag actually. So what happened was, as I said, right, I was doing my engineering, and some of my friends, right, they were all musicians, like playing guitar or keyboard or drums, right. So interim, what happened, we started a band called Hindi, called Umid. It's a Hindi fusion rock band, and and luckily, I don't know, it became a craze back in Mumbai, and slowly we started doing our own shows, and we were lucky enough to do opening shows for Ocean, Indian Ocean, and a band called Jal from Pakistan, right, where originally Atif Aslam is from. So we had that break, and I was doing the entire band management for them. So I continued with them as a band manager. So that's how the professional journey started, and I got fascinated with the media industry, through them. And then what happened? I thought, okay, having a band and fascinated to music, I thought, okay, I wanted to do a sound engineering course. So I did a sound engineering course in Mumbai, and then of course, some of them who were part of it were disc jockeys, DJs. So part time I used to go with them, in malls, and play music during the weekends. That's how I started, doing that. And slowly I got into a company called Sound.com, which does all the big shows. Like at that time, Sahara Sports Award was big. We had MTV shows, the MTV Coke Studio. Then apart from that, we had even the IPL for that matter, right? And other multiple shows we used to do. So I was lucky enough to be recruited as an assistant sound engineer there. Continued my journey through that, and then got a chance to go to Delhi and look into that. And over a period of time, I got bored. I'm a Mumbai guy. Delhi was not something was suitable for me. I thought I had to come back, right? And then because of my DJ experience, I was recruited by Della Adventures, which is in Lonavala. So I was a resident DJ for almost a year there. And then after that, I thought, okay, now things are going smooth, settled, but what next? See, I'm an full studious guy. I learn. So I thought, okay, what next? So I thought, okay, let me do masters in sound engineering. But bad luck was, wherever it is available, it is mandatory to have a experience of guitar playing or maybe instrument playing for 8 years, which I didn't have. I was just learning guitar around that time. So I thought, okay, क्या कर सकते हैं? But I still wanted to do something in media. Then I came to know about a course in MBA Media and Entertainment Management in Bangalore and Chennai. Chennai was feasible money wise. So that's how I came to Chennai and then settled here completely. It's been 14 years now. I came to Chennai in 2010 and I've been in working with Infosys for a Hollywood studio, Warner Brothers, and Universal Studios as such. And parallelly, I did my direction course, digital filmmaking, and it continued. Parallelly, I have my company now, Generation 360, and also planning to do a cinematography course now. So that learning is still continuing. So, professionally, I can say proudly that I am a hardcore media and entertainment professional.
Wonderful. What a journey, Jayesh. Like, very inspiring.
Thank
So,
you.
Jayesh, based on this particular journey, when did you decided that okay, now it's time to wear a new hat, and that's entrepreneurship, and you started your entrepreneurship journey?
Right. So what happened was I did my direction course in 2019, and that parallelly, and that's when my daughter was also born, right? And I thought, okay, let's start with the new phase of life where I want to get into that field complete as a director. And I started doing short films and all, but unfortunately, COVID hit, right? We were all at home for a long period of time, and I thought, okay, anyways, now outside going and shooting, so for big scale itself, permissions were not coming. Forget about short films, right? So that's when I thought what to do next. So I had time in hand. I thought, okay, let me do something, on media trainings for workshops and camps for kids virtually. And that's where I started Generation 360 Media Solutions, along with my family and friends. Where I thought, okay, first we'll go with this scope of giving this holistic view on, you know, uh, content making, not just filmmaking, rather than content making, where you learn about script writing, you learn about, visualizing that into storyboards. From storyboards, you identify what all equipments you need, what all characters you need. You build a script, and then the dialogue. Then from there you shoot, that is a production, you do that, then you do the editing, and then you do a presentation of it. So today's world, right, presentation is so important. So we included that in the scope of learning, right? So that's how it started. And I think in the first few months itself, we got students across, right? Where not just in Chennai, but across South. So we're quite happy to see that, okay, that those kind of expectations were there, that they wanted to learn something like this. So that's how I thought, okay, now it's time to change completely and become an entrepreneur. I think there is scope, to do something bigger here.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, Jayesh, what is the story behind naming your brand Generation 360?
Now it sounds silly, but yeah, at that time what happened was I wanted to name my company Trident Media. Now, so being a Shiva Bhakt, and being so much, my mom has been a hardcore devotee of Shiva. So even I wanted to follow that path, and I thought, okay, Trident is something which is closer to me. I go with that. But unfortunately, somebody had already registered that. So after putting in, trying to register it, it got rejected. Then they said, no, you have to come up with something else. So I tried some names here and there. I also was looking into numerology and all that, right? So, but what happened? I because of the varied experience that I have in the multiple industries, right? And the multiple fields rather in the same industry, I thought, okay, there is some gap that is available where, especially in this industry where what is theoretically taught and what practically happens are very different. Of course, that is a reality in India in most fields, but in media, it is even more for that matter, right? And of course, technology keeps upgrading every year or so. We all know that, right? So, keeping that in mind, I thought, but one thing is common in media is that across all generations, the craze is the same, right? So, it is all generation medium basically when it comes to media and entertainment. And I wanted to come up with a service solution which is 360 degrees, which can give everything that is there in the media and entertainment, right? So that's how I put together the two words, generation and 360, basically. And of course, one other thing was, when you put all together numerologically, it comes to nine. The nine is good for business, is what I've heard. So right, so that's how I stuck to it. And I went ahead to register, and thankfully it was available. So got it registered. I took the trademark. Now I've got it officially registered, and officially also.
Fantastic. Lovely story. So, Jayesh, how are the
Like,
initial days of handling your business?
so initially, of course, as I said, right, my family and friends were, someone who invested in this company, and so through their support, right, we did lot of um, free marketing. As you said, initially the organic way of marketing, right, word of mouth, the known people through them doing that organic way of things. That's how we got the students in the initial 1 year of doing the workshops and all, right. And I think, see, you expect a lot when you start something on your own. That's always the case. But I would say that it falls too short. Probably it's setting an expectation too high. An issue with all entrepreneurs, I would say. But yeah, of course, falling short of it, but still happy, right? But there were a lot of learnings because there are a lot of things that we didn't anticipate. See, when you are working for a company, right, which is owned by somebody else, you don't see the end to end. You would see somewhere the 30-40% of it. But when you own something on your own and you do things, you see end to end. Then you realize, okay, this is not thought of, that is not thought of. So there were a lot of learnings in the beginning stage, especially in the first 6 months. Even for registering a company, what are documentation is needed, that percentage, the share equities, and all those things. A lot of things I learned. I think that was a great experience. Now today, if somebody asks me, you want to register a company and what all process they have to do, I think I can take a session now.
Much needed, I think so, Jayesh.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So, Jayesh, in this whole journey of entrepreneurship, what were the hiccups that you faced, and what are the key learnings you kind of recollect right now?
See, one learning definitely I already told about was a name, right? When you want to register a name, right? Something very important. Two things learning that I had for the name, right? One is that, of course, something which is close to you, which gives meaning to you on your thought process and your values and objectives. Second is that, is it available or not, right? So you have to check both parallelly. You have to keep 3-4 options. You can't blindly go and say, "Ki, this is the name, I want this only." Not possible anymore, right? So that's something is a key learning I have. Second is that, when you're an entrepreneur, you can't look into one thing. You have to be a jack of all trades. Let it be sales, marketing, content creation, production, doesn't matter. Even finance, accounting, everything you have to do. Right? Initial days you can't outsource, because if you do that mistake, what happens is you don't learn. So initial 1 year is something you have to do something, everything on your own before you delegate to somebody else. Otherwise, you will not be in a position to ask questions. Why this not happened? Why that not happen? And even if you get an answer, you cannot analyze, what went wrong in that. So I think these definitely are the key learnings I have. And apart from that, of course, learning the tools is very important. Marketing tools, right? Of course, when we started, there was no Gen AI around that time, but now it is picking up. But let's say if it was there at that time, it becomes very important to learn that also.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So,
Very well said, Jayesh. So, Jayesh, you've been an entrepreneur for quite some time now. So, what do you think are, as per you, 5 things that you feel an entrepreneur must have?
ah, I think first thing is family support. Definitely yes. Second thing is some capital, right? So mostly what happens is some entrepreneurs, they have great ideas, but what happens in the beginning itself, they go for borrowing loans or some other means. I think that's not the right approach. You need to have some capital saved with you. See, you don't need to start when you're 20-25, right? You can start a little late, but have that initial minimum capital to put into, so that you know that it is something that you have hard earned money. You know how to use it in a proper way. I think this is second. Third is that you need to know how to communicate with people. That is, communication skill is very important, right? Because you're not just talking to employees and clients, but there are a lot of vendors in between who can be top scale vendors, low scale vendors, right? But you need to have your variation in talking to each of them in a different way. Second, I think third is that. Fourth one is knowing marketing. You don't need not know the depth of it, but you need to know how to drive people to do marketing. Let's say if you have a team, if not, how to do it yourself. Get a certification done, understand how it is done, practically implement it, and learn from that. The fourth one. And the final one is what I would say is that how to manage money, right? Right. Second one was just to have it. to invest. But the fifth one is that once you get money, how to manage it. Because there are times, and that is why having a separate account, right, a current account for your company is always good, because it separates your personal expenses with the company expense. Merging both of them will always be chaotic. It's always separate. Good to have a separate account for it, and to do the accounting related to that account in a separate way. That's very key. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is actually deep. Thank you so much, Jayesh. So, Jayesh, being an
And
entrepreneur, how has it changed you as a person?
uh, I think I'm more matured one way. Yes. Uh, my patient level was always good, but it has improved further. Third thing is that there are a lot of times when you feel giving up, right? Especially when you are an employee to some place. Yeah, bus ho gaya, I can't take it anymore. But here, what happens that you automatically get that self motivation and drive to push for that. Today is not happening, no worries. Tomorrow it will happen, right? So that self drive gets added. And I think one other thing, a great improvement I can see is that managing money. Uh, I have been bad. I think my parents, my family, everybody would say that I have been really bad in managing money, and that has been a great improvement that I can see in the last 2 years for sure.
Got it, Jayesh.
Yeah.
So, Jayesh, do you think there is a success portion to establish a business, a success formula or something?
See, I don't believe in the formulas, to be honest, right? Because formulas are something where you follow, it may not work, and it depends people to people. I believe you make your own formulas, and again, that will not work throughout your life, right? There is something you have to keep enhancing the formula, because lot of variations are around you. The people change, money matters change, the inflation is there, the technology changes, right? A lot of things, right? You can't fix it to a formula. You have to create and keep evolving the formula. Is what I could say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you need to constantly keep on evolving yourself.
Absolutely.
So, Jayesh, before we end this particular episode, what is a message you would like to give to our listeners as well as to the community members of ISYB?
See, I keep saying one thing, business will come and go. People are important. And you build a network, which is what you're doing, right? You keep doing that, eventually it will pay off, right? Because word of mouth is something of biggest mark tool anybody can. Only those people will do word of mouth trust you, right? And only those who trust you whom you connect with regularly, right? That is where ISP becomes such a strong platform, because we connect regularly. Now we have that trust built, and then the word of mouth happens, and then that's when you get more and more business. Sometimes it takes time, sometimes it happens quickly. It changes people to people, but eventually it will happen. That's what I believe, the message I want to convey to everybody.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jayesh, for taking your valuable time and sharing your journey with us and inspiring so many others.
So, thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
You're welcome. So, you have just listened to I Support Your Business show with your host, Mithil. Thank you so much for listening to our show and giving so much love. Don't forget to subscribe to our show on the Apple Podcast or Spotify. This is Mithil signing off at the moment. Until next time. Meet you soon with another member and their exciting story. But until then, keep rocking, stay safe, and don't forget to keep creating content. Ciao.